Mockery, blasphemy, vile heresy, brothers and sisters, a new shade has arisen, in direct contradiction of our great lady. This novel fiend seems bent on taking the virtues of Marie and twisting them into obscenity, for he wields a straight sword with a complex hilt, yet instead of a graceful slim-pointed blade as Our Lady the fleet of foot decrees, his is broad and cumbersome, more of use at chopping wood than in a graceful duel. And even in his clothing and name we find the mockery he exudes in every fibre of his being. For what is his name, Kalkstein, or limestone in our tongue, but an admittance of brittleness, of immovability, and a corroboration of his appearance being a direct refusal to the dark and sensible sombre colours the lady sports as her own. Therefore I say to you, this abomination needs to be rejected and denounced by all honest believing followers of the Lady of the Deadly Pointed Blade. Face this pale demon only with steel in hand, and your righteous conviction in your patroness' protection. Yet, as loathed as we might be by this being, to receive the protection of Our Lady, we must apply ourselves to the study of the duel and the enemies we face therein. Thus, let me describe how this bane on our souls tries to trap and kill us, the rightful believers. Something all followers must know is his tactic to use different attacks by leading with the left or the right foot. He can change his stance at a whim, as well as during some of his strikes. This gives him access to a multitude of strikes, especially taking into consideration all his available combinations. While his movement is slow as a rock, where once this boulder has been set into motion, one must take care not to be crushed, for stepping into the path of his broad blade is dangerous beyond measure, as his heavy sword smashes through many a guard. He also utilizes a number of thrusts in his arsenal that can slip through defenses in many cases. His very ability to switch between such different attacks makes him hard to predict, but luckily also hard for the enemy to control. You shall see with your opponent that they will utilize only a small part of his dark potential consistently. Show me, O Marie, the strikes to beware, so I may share your wisdom with the righteous. I reveal to you strikes which Kalkstein uses to bash down his enemy. Some are faster, but may be easier blocked, while the ones with the greatest force are slower and thereby easier avoided. With his sidestep, we see more powerful attacks, as either fast thrusts or snap cuts, or from below strikes to cut at the enemy's arms while warding off the other's blade with his own steel. And even in his retreating strikes, this abomination covers his pale form with cold, hard efficiency. Whence we look at him facing all the other beings in the hellish court, we see him taking on the saber-wielding demons with similar strikes as their own, whilst boasting a hard defense with still great offensive power. Especially dangerous to Laszlo the Scarred or Gedeon the Brute, as their stances are far less guarded. 'Tis the same combination of great offense and defense that makes him a danger to the evil Isabella, for his basket hilt and broad blade is able to defend him without problem from her long blade and match her in speed and following up an attack blow for blow. Only our supreme lady, she of the keenest mind, has the ability to find the weak spot in his defenses and crumble his brittle guard with her long, beautiful thrusts. But she herself needs be aware of his danger once he has closed in. Do not despair, O ye faithful. Marie will guide you through these trials. This new danger we face dies all the same to a well-placed rapier. This fiend may be savage, but his mobility is still somewhat limited, and while this gargoyle strikes with great might, nonetheless he leaves openings that all who are faithful may exploit. Therefore, let me send you forth in the name of Marie. Walk along her narrow path, so your point may never err in its thrust, and your blade never strike the empty air. Return hence to soon receive further instructions and elucidation of the ways of our Lady.